I'm David White, travel writer and photographer. I moved to the island of Madeira 6 years ago and I was commissioned to write a series of short pieces entitled Madeira Travel Stories. Each year, Madeira is visited by thousands of tourists who come to enjoy the sunshine, take in the Levada walks, the numerous festivals that go on throughout the year,
and the island's stunning natural beauty. To get started, let's travel back in time. Since it was discovered in 1419, Madeira has been an important stepping stone to the Africas, India, the Orient, and especially during the discovery and colonization of the Americas. Christopher Columbus lived on these islands for at least a decade before he made his historic expeditions across a largely uncharted Atlantic.
Some say he might actually have been born here.
At the time, the world was in conflict. There had been ongoing altercations between Muslims and Christians for centuries. In 1444, a combined Christian army led by King Ladislaw III of Poland took on the Muslim might of Sultan Murad II at the Battle of Varna. Things did not go well for the Crusaders, and according to their Muslim adversaries, the Polish king was killed, although curiously, no body or royal armour was ever found. Not long after, in 1454, the city of Constantinople fell to the ever-expanding Ottoman Empire, cutting vital trade routes between Asia and Europe. Less than a year after the fall of Constantinople, a mysterious knight appeared on the shores of Madeira, going by the name of Henrik o Alemão, or Henry the German.
He was afforded full hospitality by the island's original discoverer, João Gonçalves Zarco. The Portuguese king Afonso V got in on the act, and he granted the mysterious knight land in the area now known as Madeira do Mar.
And not long after, the enigmatic knight was married to Signorina Inês de Sá, the daughter of one of the most prominent figures in the Portuguese court. And who was the best man at the wedding? None other than Afonso V, the very king of Portugal.
Just who was this Henrik guy? Could it be that Henry the German was in fact King Vladislaw of Poland, one of the most powerful figures of 15th century Europe?
Had he survived the Battle of Varna, travelled to the Holy Lands as a lowly pilgrim, and eventually came to the shores of Madeira, a man with a very particular plan. Why would the most powerful king in Europe choose to come to the humble little islands of Madeira? The islands had only recently been discovered. There was no Savoy Palace, Reeds, or even Burger King to welcome him.
So here in Madeira do Mar, Henry the German settled with his wife. And here, allegedly, in this house, they had two children, Segismundo and Barbara.
Segismundo, the son, is said to have disappeared in his early 20s, presumed drowned on a trip to Lisbon. And as coincidence would have it, this was just before the character of Christopher Columbus appeared. History books tell us that Columbus was born in 1451, the son of a Genoese wool weaver. Yet by 1492, the year of his first transatlantic voyage, he had become a master navigator and admiral of the ocean sea, courting the support of the most powerful monarchies in Europe and marrying into one of Portugal's wealthiest aristocratic families. This is almost as unlikely as the Henry the German story. For starters, no way in medieval Europe would a man of peasant extraction marry into one of the most powerful Portuguese families. Nor would he be accepted into the Portuguese schools of navigation, let alone even be allowed to sail with the Portuguese fleet.
It's my speculation that Henry the German was in fact King Vladislav III of Poland, and that he and King Afonso had hatched a plan to make sure that Portugal was in the game when it came to discovering a new route to the Orient and possible new territories across a wide Atlantic Ocean.
And Christopher Columbus was Segismundo, his son. And so, in 1492, the Americas were discovered. But there was an emerging problem. There were no wine-quality grapes to be found anywhere in the original 13 colonies, a serious issue for the founding fathers and their thirsty followers. Fermented wine and beer were the drinks of choice in those days, as opposed to the risks of drinking contaminated water.
Fortified Madeira wine, with its ability to travel all the way from Europe to the Americas, soon became the tipple of choice.
And a certain shipping agent, John Hancock, based in Boston, Massachusetts, was its leading importer. Eager to increase his profits and avoid taxes, Hancock took to smuggling Madeira wine into the fledgling colonies under the very noses of the English excisemen. This led to the seizure of his ship, the Liberty, at the port of Boston in 1768. The incident became key to the colony's swing towards independence. Boston locals, learning that they would not get their regular supply of Madeira, became surly, assaulting the customs officer, smashing the Inspector General's windows, and making a bonfire of his personal pleasure boat. The English authorities were not amused. A lawsuit filed against him by the English governor for unpaid taxes led Hancock to enlist the services of the top lawyer of the day, John Adams, who won the case, dealing the first judicial blow to British rule in the colonies and furthering the move towards independence.
On July 4, 1776, Thomas Jefferson used Malmsey Madeira wine to toast the Declaration of Independence.
Henry Gordon Veitch was the British consul in Madeira from 1809 until 1834. As he amassed his Madeira fortune, he built several impressive properties around the island. The first in Funchal, overlooking the harbour, now the Madeira Wine Institute. His seaside domiciliary at Quinta Calasa, now part of Club Naval of Funchal. But the property dearest to his heart was his countryside quarters of Quinta Jardim de Serra, set high above the fishing village of Câmara de Lobos. Here Veitch developed a large estate with beautiful gardens, containing all sorts of exotic species of plants and trees. Veitch insisted that only the local women should be allowed to do the planting, because he believed their feminine touch conveyed fertility.
And this is the actual tree that Henry Veitch planted all these years ago with the help of his lady friends. And it is now the tallest tree in Madeira.
Planting trees was not Veitch's only interest in the local ladies. On a regular basis, he would invite a different girl from the surrounding area to enjoy the comforts of his quinta. He even devised a coloured flag system to alert his lady of the evening, bringing a whole new meaning to the phrase, nailing your colours to the mast. And here Veitch now lies, content no doubt with happy memories of his arboreal paradise. Dr. Robert Reid Cally was a Scottish doctor and Presbyterian minister from Kilmarnock, Scotland. Arriving in Madeira with his wife in the 1840s, Cally was appalled at the poverty and illiteracy he found on the mid-Atlantic island and decided to offer the disadvantaged medical services for free. He soon had built a small hospital and pharmacy, along with 17 small schools around the island, catering to children during the day and unlettered adults in the evening.
And what could possibly be wrong with that, I hear you say?
The magnanimous Cally couldn't resist proselytizing his particular brand of Presbyterianism to the exclusively Catholic parishioners. So successful was he at converting the poorer classes to the Presbyterian brand, the Catholic Church could no longer turn a blind eye.
The Catholic Bishop of Funchal forbade Cally to deliver any further religious lectures. But the good doctor just could not help himself, and he continued in a more subdued manner here in the village of Santo de Serra.
They say that as many as 5,000 people would walk for days just to hear his sermons. Although long abandoned, his Santo de Serra Quinta still exists.
And in Funchal, he established the first Presbyterian Church of Portugal, right here in the centre of town.
This was a step too far for the Catholic hierarchy. He and his Portuguese followers were charged with blasphemy and heresy, which at the time were punishable by death. In 1846, all the schools he had founded were closed, the 2,000 Bibles he distributed were burned, and a warrant was issued for his immediate arrest. Cally only just managed to escape the island, disguised as an old woman, and as he set sail from Funchal harbour, the hapless doctor looked back to see his Funchal home engulfed in flames. This is just a sample of some of the wonderful stories I've discovered here in Madeira. Believe me, there's so much more.
Come and join us in Madeira and discover your own Madeira travel stories.